Well, good morning, and thanks for having me here. Well, indeed, we've been trying to do things digitally in our government for the last 20 years now, and in some sense, some say we were early in the game. Well, if you look at us, then we don't think we were late in the game, because we only reached our independence in '91. So as we were rebooting the whole country anyway, we decided to perhaps skip a few steps and go what is really the latest out there to modernize how we work as a society, as an economy, as a government. And this is really, I think, when I was looking at, say, what is sort of posed to us as a question this morning, so what is e-government? Well, I very much echo the speakers before me that the way we've always thought about it, it's transformation of how we work as a government, how the governance works in the widest sense in the whole country. So, and technology only can help with that. Technology itself does not do the trick. It's really how we change, how we go to work every day, what we do there as government officials, politicians, parliament members. That's the change. That's really the heart of it. And so Estonia, yes, we've really tried to use the opportunity that technology brings to transform how we do things from all different policy fields, in all different service areas. So the examples, we could spend the whole morning here, but literally from how we set up businesses, we do that online. We administer them fully online as entrepreneurs. To how do I pay, let's say if I apply for licenses for some environmental work. My doctors in Estonia, they can work with a national health record, and again, if we go to schools, then I can follow how my kid is doing in school through my mobile. So from all walks of life, we try to digitize both the back office, so the machinery of the government, as well as the front line, so the front office of how do interactions between people, entrepreneurs, and the government happen. So literally, I mean, I could say that all those interactions that you need to do, all the sort of bureaucracy, the red tape that you need to do in your life as an entrepreneur or citizen, you can do online. The only exceptions are basically what we call high-risk transactions, where we still want to make sure that you really know what you're doing. Like getting married, that's a very high-risk one. It's supposedly for life and comes with very sort of strong legal consequences, so you need to show up for that. But everything else almost beyond that, yes, you can handle from a distance in a nice, convenient, efficient way. And efficiency has really been the thing driving us, being a very small country, being a very small economy. At the same time, the policy line has always been that we don't go into debt, we stay fiscally very conservative. So pulling off this challenge and still wanting to be a fully fledged country, we've had to be as efficient as we can in all different aspects. And that is really why we started experimenting with technology in the early days, that could that be a solution? So I'm talking late 90s here, where internet's just taking off in going to mainstream. And it turned out this way indeed. So we have seen the benefits that technology could really bring us, that e-government could bring us in everyday practice. So from personal level, like I said, all the interactions I can handle, without showing up to offices, I save so much time. Like Jean-Francois said at the beginning, exactly, we save a week per every working person in Estonia, because we can handle things digitally with digital signatures, online transactions, and so forth. One work week a year is basically a time we have to produce 2% of GDP. That's how much exactly that if you equivalent to that, the time that you have in a year. And for companies, it's especially a big thing. So, if they don't have to, for them, time is especially money. So if we can get out of the way, reduce bureaucracy, have them handle things digitally, the more growth and productivity we can have in the whole economy, especially for SMEs, who are the heart of the economy anyway. But we've also seen the benefits, of course, of the government. So making the machinery of the government more effective. So whether it's our tax system, so happy to say that our tax system is possibly the most cost-effective in the world in terms of how much we spend on administering the tax, both inside the government and also for the users, compared to how much tax revenue we collect. And this is not because we have high taxes. This is because exactly we've taken the cost of administration to such a low extent, or our health system and so forth. So yes, the benefits are clearly there, and not just efficiency, also accountability and transparency. My former president famously said that you cannot bribe a computer. So if you move the transactions digitally, if you make them very sort of transparent about what happens in the sort of procedures, bribery or any sort of corruption is much harder to do. For example, for us that was an issue coming in the early 90s. Going digital was a very strong way to go beyond that. So yes, the benefits are clear. If if you're sometimes asked, okay, so what's been some of the tricks used in Estonia? I shouldn't call them tricks actually at all, rather quite a few simple things. Well, first of all, I am the government CIO, but I am only one of the CIOs out there in Estonia. And this is really because the core principle is that for us, digital government, e-government, is a horizontal issue. Every minister is a digital minister. Every department is a digital department in their field. From government CIO office, we lay down the rules, the standards. We also have financial incentives we can, use to support them going into directions. But ultimately, everybody has to plan and deliver in their service field, in their policy area. And the other part of that, it has been that we have been very keen implementers of the very same principle that actually now are cornerstone of the EU eGovernment action plan, be it once only, be it digital by default, be it interoperability and others. So, and again, applying them area by area has really done a trick that we've been able to move much faster. Indeed, especially interoperability is that what I want to bring out. So again, needing to be efficient, we also need to be efficient how we build e-government. So we had to rely on interoperability really because we didn't have the option to build up silos. That's why we moved very early onto shared platforms like Nationwide Digital Identity, like X-Road, a national data exchange platform, because this way we were able to economize also while we were digitizing. And it turned out that, well, by the way, we also build up a much seamless service government from user point of view, because we connect the authorities together so that from user interaction point of view, they can get things done from a single contact and much easier and efficient way. But my last point, and so if I'm asked to say, okay, what should we do in Europe? I say the same thing. Well, we have agreed to quite a few very strong principles in EU e-government action plan. Let's put them into actual practice at all levels, from local municipalities to national governments, all the way to European institutions. And at the same time, the other thing that perhaps has benefited Estonia in a way is that we've been very willing to experiment. We've been very willing to just do it, sort of approaches has been our guideline. We have lots of ideas. We have so much sharing happening on policy level in the whole of Europe, but not enough doing. And let's say that applies to Estonia, my own country the same way. We could be doing so much more that we are now gearing up to do, really to build the next levels of digital government. The work never stops. So basically, another sort of, my takeaway would be exactly, let's do more. Not just talk and share, but exactly, let's start applying these things in practice, following the principles laid out in the action plan. My last point this morning, and exactly, happy to hear your views on what I'm going to be saying, but indeed, we will have the honor and duty to lead European work as a presidency country from July to December this year. And we will bring a very digital program to all of our tables in all through different council formations and topics and events. But one of these topics and things will be work on e-government front. So we will be trying to work with our member state colleagues as well as a wide range of stakeholders to see, first of all, to really then try to commit to implementing the EU e-government action plan and sort of, let's say, trying to agree what are really the next steps of the priorities we should be really strongly delivering in the next years to come. And at the same time, we are trying to also start poking the discussion what happens 2020 and beyond, because it's actually not too many years away, even though we just came up with an action plan last year, but we always have to look ahead as well. So very concretely put, Estonia as a presidency country will be working to come up with a ministerial declaration of European countries and get that ready and get that agreed in a high-level conference in early October this year in Tallinn. So, and in that, I think that we will be very keenly looking at two aspects the most. One is cross-border issues, because that's really, digital government does not stop at borders, should not stop at borders, even if it does right now. And we see as Estonia that really free movement of data is really the core issue that should bring digital single market alive. From e-government point of view, we should then really focus how to also enable free movement of data from government side, from e-government side. And secondly, what the declaration clearly has to handle is exactly the same thing I said about our national experience. We should really be aiming to make digital government, e-government issues as horizontal as we can, because in the end, all the different fields have to deliver on digital. And my very last point is actually like a personal note that even if I'm a government official, even if I'm in charge of the policy field in Estonia, I always try to have a personal citizen hat on me. And I think a lot what we all can do everybody in this room, but also way beyond, is let's be always very open and honest with our feedback to those who are offering us services, to our governments at whatever levels they are. If we have ideas about how some service could work better, if we have ideas how engagement with us could work better, or if it's lousy, then let's give feedback. This is what at least we see in Estonia as well has worked a lot. It's exactly, you can be very well-intended, but still come up with a service that is not working well. Based on user feedback, agencies are willing to make them better if we give them this feedback. So this is, one is the policy talk, but we all can do small things like that every day when we have the interactions with our government as well. But yes, thank you for the attention, and exactly, we will, at least in Estonian and then together with our colleagues, have quite an interesting 6 months ahead of us. Thank you.